Continuation of the former video. Introduction. Carbon agroforest will allow for husbandry and even dairy farming to be practiced with animals. A. Living under the shadow of or near trees, or even B. Living wild in these carbon agroforests, which are in fact, or are very similar to their natural habitats. Both biomes are beneficial for them, certainly much more natural and beneficial than the conditions animals generally live in outside carbon agroforests, certainly those that live in closed compounds for most of their lives, even when the best practices are applied. For tropical carbon agroforest we consider to promote the practice of dairy farming and/or the harvest of free-living and roaming wild animals, like tapir, peccary, tropical forest deers, and possibly capivara that could be living totally free in the agroforests, as this is a way to protect them from the actual threat of extinction. Their meat, mostly legally provided by specialized husbandry, although mostly not considered standard food, is often specially looked for, this for its excellence, almost in all of the tropics. These wild animals, provided one has a good working knowledge of their biology and behavior, are easy to maintain and if necessary breed, even in captivity, and this could be considered a form of conservation, seeing their actual threat of extinction. In the absence of harvesting or predators, their populations grow so large they start to prejudice the forest, and next themselves. Some of these animals are raised or sometimes harvested and consumed by a-amerinds, including the Tsimane that present the best heart and brain health of the world and relative absence of all degenerative diseases, including Alzheimer's and dementia. End of introduction. Not eating meat, by itself, will not protect wild tropical forests animals and Amazon forests animals, nor prevent their extinction. Carbon agroforests will protect wild tropical forest animals including Amazon forest animals, as well as prevent their extinction, at least, or rather especially so, when also allowing wild animals to live and roam freely in the carbon agroforests. Carbon agroforests will A. Protect wild tropical forests animals, including they will prevent their eventual extinction, which is almost inevitable without carbon agroforests, and B. Also decrease pressure on wild animals in the Amazon forest and in other tropical forests across the world. This decreased pressure will offer an additional layer of protection of wild animals, and on top of this prevent or reduce existing and actually expanding practices of cattle and husbandry in tropical forests, which obviously is a cause of emissions because of damage degeneration to the forest, and/or deforestation. Degeneration and deforestation of tropical forests obviously cause the increase and intensification of certainly some of our challenges, including climate challenges, including at least one recent and new challenge, like the ones that are a consequence of the global disruption of all jetstreams that seems to be a rather recent phenomenon, roughly since 2016. The latter new challenges are, possibly just like other long-term challenges, directly linked to the accumulation of carbon dioxide in the northern hemisphere. Resume of a relevant part of former videos. If humans and animals in the northern hemisphere would obtain or become their food and materials from carbon agroforests, especially if these were located in the tropics and subtropics, this would significantly reduce emissions in the northern hemispheres. Actually, in the northern hemisphere the emissions related to unsustainable agriculture, dairy farming and domesticated animal husbandry lead to accumulations of carbon dioxide in the northern hemisphere that break through the equatorial ITCZ band, which is a relative barrier for air, carbon dioxide and the consequential breakthroughs of jet streams that violently invade the southern hemisphere. These breakthroughs of jet streams from north to south cause disruptions, extremes and calamities all over the world, probably much more in the northern hemisphere itself, prejudicing almost any agriculture, farming and husbandry in the northern hemisphere itself. Foods from carbon agroforests in the tropics and subtropics are more nutritious, healthy and without toxins. Ideally these foods should be certified for their merits and also to stimulate the transformation of degenerated and eventual already totally unproductive and eroding soils into carbon agroforests. This video is part of a series and to be continued.